Hi, it's Susan Kennedy here, bringing you a reading about the new moon in Pisces, coming on February the 19th or 20th, depending on where you are. And I'm recording this on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day if you happen to be watching it today. And this super new moon in Pisces is one that is going to be huge. And I kind of have this vision of imagining that you've got this huge galactic presence really, really close to you, and you can feel it, but you can't see it. And it's almost like this, oh my God, this inner excitement of these massive endings and beginnings that are happening at the moment. So the new moon's always that time when it's dark in the sky, a great time for creatively visualizing what you want. This time, I'm really being shown that it's a time to really step into the feeling of exactly what it is that you would like to manifest for this next lunar cycle. You know, and Piscean energy, it's always about, or the Piscean age was about really going within. This time of recognizing that we're more than our body, you know, going into the soul energy, going into the self-awareness. But sometimes we can overdo that. And one of the things that this time is about is potentially letting go of the navel gazing and, you know, stop questioning so much about who you are or how you can get through something. So it's almost like let go of the how and start to see the actual desired result. So what would life look like for you if it was different at the moment? How would it feel? How would it look? But more importantly, how would it feel? And you know, the human mind, we get so caught up in the how will this work? How will I make it happen? What if that person doesn't do their part? How can you have the result that you want? So this time, and especially today being Valentine's Day, the second half of February, this month is dedicated to love. It's a number 2 in numerology. So it's all about this connection that we have with others. And the Piscean energy was very much a solo energy. It was about going within. It was about how can we know who we are? How can we love who we are? And yet the Aquarian energy brings us more into a space of the collective energy. And how can we actually experience ourselves through the collective? So I really know that this lead in to this super new moon. Why is it super? Because it's super big, it's super close to the earth, and it will have a huge impact, and that impact is already starting. So when you have the withdrawal of something, so maybe there's been a goal, maybe there's been a vision, maybe there's been a love in your life, and you're feeling the withdrawal of that, because sometimes it's only through the withdrawal of an energy that we can actually focus on what it is that we truly deserve, what we truly want, and what we're ready for. So maybe someone around you in a relationship or in work or in a friendship is actually pulling away a little bit and potentially doing that really deep dive within, questioning themselves and potentially not recognizing that the best way to resolution is through communication. It's through talking about things. It's through sharing. And yes, of course, we have to have those moments of going within. That's what's so important. But there's also a time when sometimes we can get in our own head. So it really is a hard time. This whole rest of the month is about collectively helping each other, but helping each other not from a space of fixing or rescuing, but from a space of just sitting in companionship, in that energy of being able to listen, that energy of being able to stay in the power of love. And I know that love is talked about so much, and I know for my work it's a massive, massive theme, because everything comes back to being able to experience ourselves that way and not questioning who we are, not doubting ourselves when we know that we are in integrity. And integrity is a big calling for this Pisces energy, this new supermoon, because it's the integrity of you standing by your beliefs, you holding true to your values, and potentially expressing those values and maybe not caring whether anybody else is in alignment with those, as long as you are in alignment with them. So an exciting time. Something else that was coming through while I was talking about this that oh, that's right. So also, because always, as I'm tuning in, things are coming now, but also before when I was preparing. So I have this massive vision of, and I've talked about this a few times as well in readings, but the galactics. And when I say the galactics, nothing to be afraid of there, but just more energy from different dimensions, newer guides to us. So this will be that a new guide is ready for you. And they always say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So at this point in your development and in your spiritual searching, no matter when you're watching this video, by the way, would be to call in and ask for the presence that is ready to help you become more loving towards yourself. So that presence, and it's interesting that today is Valentine's Day as I'm recording this, because, so often I think if we could only understand that what everybody is yearning for is not gifts. We don't want stuff. We want the physical, emotional, mental, and heartfelt presence of that person in our life, whether that be a friend or the person that you're working with, or, the people that you're dealing with every day. But most importantly, an intimate partner is that desire for presence, not the gifts, but the actual physical, mental, spiritual, emotional presence. So this means being present for yourself. And in this lead into the new moon, and of course in the aftermath of it, you have to have a look at where you can be more present with yourself, more present with your body, more present with your mind, more present with your desires. And this time, in this month of unity, potentially it's about looking at stepping away from the hardness of what you might do. So, I just had a vision of somebody that's normally at the gym and, doing things really hard and thinking they've got to really pound it out. But it's kind of saying, well, what does it mean if you are gentler with yourself? How does that feel for you? And in that gentleness, giving your body what it needs in order to become the body you want it to be, or maintain the body that you want to maintain. Because remembering the body is just the vehicle for the spirit. And the body is receiving so much at the moment. So we have huge seismic activity going on the planet. We have huge weather systems. We've got things happening on the sun with these massive solar eruptions, and even a piece of the sun breaking away. I kind of thought that was fabulous in a way, because we know that the sun is part of our ecosystem. I always see it as the great spirit energy, and this energy of the divine masculine with the moon represents that energy of the divine feminine. So sometimes the feminine has to step back and go within and re-emerge in new softness and in new light. The sun is always constant. But in that letting go of a piece of itself, maybe there's a part of the masculine energy that has decided it's okay now to let go of a piece of itself. Because we all know the ferocity of the sun, the fierceness of the heat and the temperature it can put out. And maybe what it's saying is, maybe I need to show those of us that are awake and aware that I'm ready to give up a part of myself. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to give up this strength or perceived strength. So I'm kind of pretty excited about that, because we are, this masculine and feminine energy that is playing out on the planet at the moment, and will continue to play out. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the blending, the melding, the bringing together, the harmonizing of those energies. And in that harmonizing of energies, we're going to see this flow of ideas, this flow of spirituality, this bringing of spirituality into mainstream and mainstream into spirituality. So that we're seeing people being more grounded in their spirituality, and we're seeing more of the mainstream people understanding the intuitive nature of life, and that everything isn't always known. So sometimes as human beings, we think everything has to be proven, everything has to be known before we head out on a particular path. But if you think about the great adventurers, they didn't always know where they were going. That's how new things are discovered, by not knowing what is on the other side, but knowing that there is a destination in mind. And so what is your destination? That's what the new moon's about. What is your destination? Where is it that, in a month's time, you want to sit there and look at your full moon wishes and say, wow, tick, 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 tick. And personally, I can only share what I do personally, but my new moon intentions are always around how I want to feel or what I want to experience rather than what I want to achieve. Because achievement always brings a sense of, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to make that happen. And what I'm finding is, or what we all find as a collective, is that when we know what we want to experience, when we know how we want to feel, and we stay firm in the feeling of that, and we strongly believe we can have it, then the universe will conspire with us to bring it to us. And oftentimes we think we've got to be the ones that do everything to make something happen, because that's all 3D energy. That's the old energy of, you have to work hard. Instead of sort of recognizing the power that you are, recognizing the power of the collective, recognizing the power of your thoughts, your emotions, that when they are put together, you will manifest an outcome, because all of those connecting parts will receive that transmission. And, I really look forward to your comments about how you've experienced this. Even now, perhaps you're experiencing it, because we are in huge times of manifestation. And as we go into this super new moon, it's going to be really a strong time of bringing exactly what you're thinking about. So I would be really mindful about those thoughts and feelings so that you don't go down into that spiral, but you kind of expand out and call in the help that is around. So I'm using Tony Salerno's cards today, the Art of Love Tarot. And just to bring 3 cards to us to give us another little yummy insight. I always like to use the cards because they always give me just some other dimension, some other way of working to add value, to add color, to add richness to what is happening. So first card, 8 of Angels, and it says confusion. So interesting that the angelic realms are not confused. Maybe you are. And therefore, I would invite you to call in the angelic realms. So call on your angels, call on your guides, ask for that guide who is so ready to come and help you. And one of the things I wrote in the précis to this, I have to say, excuse me, because there's some noise going on. Interesting, isn't it? There's no external noise where I live. And I've been waiting for the right moment to film this today. But anyway, we just go with it, eh? And I'll try and block out as much of the noise as I can on my editing software. But the interesting thing is that the guides are ready, and you may not know the questions that you have, but the answers will be given to you. So I really encourage you to bring in the realms of clarity through the guides, through that connection with your specific being of light. And in this super new moon, to know that your own sixth sense will be really online. So this Queen of Hearts, the sixth sense, and that's to say, to really step into this rebirth energy. Sixes are always about rebirth, and this heart energy, how can you re-look at the way you see yourself? Nothing essentially can change within you except the feelings about who you are, the feelings about your body, the feelings about your life, the feelings about your experiences. And when they change, the whole story is rebuilt. There's a card in this deck, and I don't know whether it's going to come out right, but it's called the Collapse of the Ego. And I know when that card comes out, it's kind of saying there's a new channel opening. And so at the moment, we're getting a collapse of the ego. The ego, that thing that wants to control, that wants to keep us small, that wants to keep us in fear. So a big collapse of that at the moment. And we're seeing collapsing of physical buildings at the moment, but collapsing of structures, collapsing of companies, old structures. This has been going on. It's been going on for the last, I'm seeing since 2012, this gradual kind of decline of energy so that new things can be built, new structures. So this is about you creating a new structure for yourself this month. Queen of Trees, nurture is the next one. And again, this speaks into softness, gentleness, being able to be in this energy of love and understanding what nurturing really is. Because nurturing is that thing you do for yourself when you are softer, when you're gentler, when you recognize what you need. So not kind of thinking all the time, what does everybody else need from me, but what do I need for me? So this beautiful energy as well. And it's interesting with that one because one eye is more aware than the other. And sometimes we look at things in a very logical way, and yet our true nature is intuitive. So the human part of us is logical. It's the human part that wants to put structure in place, that wants to know exactly where you're going. This supermoon, new moon in Pisces, I invite you to really have some joy with it, have some love with it, but really go within. But don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to get involved. Don't be afraid to experience yourself differently through the feelings that you have, through the intentions that you make, and lots of new beginnings. I do want to do just one more. Well, it needs to come out. So this other one, Five of Hearts, sorrow. And interesting that we've got two cards around the hearts, one of trees, one of angels in this deck. So the sorrow card, we can't ever truly find that love if we're holding on to disappointments. And when I say love, I'm talking about the love that you have for you. Because again, love is a frequency. It's a sense of being well. It's a sense of being okay. It's a sense of just knowing that you are in the essence of your true self, and that is the light. So in the light, there is nothing else. And where you're holding on, so maybe this super new moon, whilst it's intentions and new beginnings, it's also endings. So there may be an ending that you have not yet faced, or you have not yet healed from or accepted. And you might want to go back, and this is a great exercise to do. I always do my new moon wishes on the night of the new moon because it obviously has extra energy and power. But in the lead up to it, perhaps you could think about what sadness, what loss have you not yet accepted or let go of, or potentially created so that you can have the new beginning. Because maybe you're at a time in your life where it's like that energy has to shift. This situation has to change out of love for you. So whenever anything is done out of love for you, it can only bring a loving result. And oftentimes we don't want to upset anybody else, but you don't have the power to do that. You only have the power to act in the sense of love. So the rest of February, of course, I'll be doing my weekly readings, but for this super new moon, I encourage you to embrace it, be ready for it. Always a great time to write, to journal, to meditate, and to really connect in with your deepest desires. Okay, have a beautiful new moon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. By the way, if you haven't already liked, comment maybe, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. And look forward to bringing more and more to you. Okay, see you soon. Bye.